Once I became a woodworker, one of the first things I began to build was candle holders. Being that candle holders still do well for me to this day, in today's video we're going to be building 3 different types of candle holders.
What?
That's right. We're going to be building a $20 candle holder, a $60 candle holder, and a $100 candle holder. There's a catch. I'm going to be giving myself a time limit for each build. For the $20 candle holder, I've got 5 minutes. The $60 candle holder, I've got 15 minutes. And for the $100 candle holder, I've got 1 hour. So meet me at the table saw. The 5-minute $20 candle holder is pretty cut and dry. We're going to be using some of this yellow pine. The time starts now. We're going to start over here at the table saw, slap on our PPE, and get our stock ripped to 2 3/4. Now we'll take that piece and head over to our miter box and get it cut to 7 inches. Now back over here at the table saw, we're going to pull in 3/4 of an inch on both sides here and pull in 3/4 on our longer sides. Get our bench cleared out, and we are going to be using our crosscut sled. And what we're going to do is cut out a couple of dados, hollowing out the center, leaving what seems to look like feet. We'll get our blade height set to 1/4 inch, get our stop block set up, and start making these cuts. I forgot to ask, smack that like button and be sure to hit subscribe. I should have gotten my dado stack set up. If you're without a dado stack, just make sure to use a blade with flat teeth, and I'll link the perfect blade to use in the description. Alright, we are at exactly 2 minutes and 45 seconds into this project, and I cannot find my Forster bit. Got it! Alright, so we're going to pull over 1.25 inches from both sides and then mark center at 3.5. We'll mark center of our 2 3/4. I've got an 1.5 inch bit set in my drill press. Let's get those holes punched and let go. Alright, now let's go ahead and get this thing sanded down. Alright, so that puts us at 3 minutes and 30 seconds. I want to get some of these blade marks cleaned up with a chisel. There's not very many, so that shouldn't take long. Beautiful. Alright, should we go sugar boogie or just a straight shellac? Or shoshuggi, whatever. 3 minutes and 55 seconds. We'll go sugar boogie. I love it. Yes, sir. Cooling it down. Come on, baby, come on. Where we at? 4 minutes and 40 seconds. Come on, come on, come on.
Come on!
Come on, baby. Oh, yeah. Oh, my God, oh, my God, oh, my God. I'm running out of time. Yes. Come on, baby. Time! Yeah. Wait, adding the candles doesn't count, does it? Regardless, wow, this actually turned out pretty damn good. Let's put some candles in it. Woo! All right, it is time for a lunch break. I've got to feed my belly. As fun as this $20 5-minute candle holder was to build, I've got high hopes that I won't have to run around near as much for the $60 15-minute build. Let's get it. I've built all sorts of candle holders over all the years of woodworking that I've done, but this next one is a special one. I'm going to be using a piece of 2-inch or 8/4 walnut. It's got this awesome grain pattern to it. And what I'm going to be attempting to do is an adjustable candle holder. I know that doesn't make much sense, but it will, I promise. Sure. This holder is going to be sort of like a stackable but adjustable candle holder with a multiple number of candles. Not only are we going to be building it out of walnut, but I'm also going to be implementing this brass rod. 15 minutes. I think we can get this. So I'm just going to grab this chunk of walnut. And where is that brass rod? Oh boy. Oh my gosh, I do not know what I did with it. Okay, we'll find that later. For now, we gotta get our walnut cut to size. We'll go ahead and cut a piece off of this chunk at 8 inches.
You can say I'm lazy, you can say I'm weak.
The walnut I have is rough sawn, so I need to get it cleaned up at my joiner and planer, but I don't want to take too much off of it because it's only 2 inches now and I need 1-inch candles to fit. If we take a look at my scribbles, come on, oops, my bad, wrong one. Taking a look at the scribbles, we want 1, 2, 3, 4 candles. Taking into account the width of our curve, we're gonna need to cut this 2 5/8 of an inch. Where are we at? 13 minutes. Out of all 3 of these projects, this $60 project is probably the most difficult. I've got to be super precise when it comes to making these cuts. Now let's go ahead and get it cut to its final dimension at 7 1/4. Damn roosters. Sounds like some chickens are getting choked. Alright, so this is probably the part that's going to take the longest. We've got to get this laid out. I'm going to pull from my right side over 1 inch for the first mark. Then I'll pull over an 1/8 inch for the kerf of the blade, and then 1 inch from that mark. And I'll do that 2 more times, creating 3 marks. Then I'm going to take and pull down from the top a 1/2 inch 3 times, considering that 1/8 inch kerf on each mark. And then I'll connect those 1/2 inch marks with each 1 inch mark. We'll take and scribe our first 1/2 inch mark all the way down to our first 1 inch mark here. That second 1/2 inch mark will bring to our second 1 inch mark. And our third 1/2 inch mark will bring down to our third 1 inch mark, connecting those points. Now I gotta make a billion cuts. I'm debating on whether to do this at the table saw or the bandsaw or both. We're gonna go the hybrid approach and do both. I've got to cut this first mark pretty deep, and I don't think I can do that with my crosscut sled, so I need my miter gauge. Where is my miter gauge? Yeah, what did aha! I'll take and get my blade raised up right to the bottom of my first line at the top and make this first cut and adjust as I go. Adjust it and cut our last line. Are you starting to sense what I'm going for here? It's going to be awesome. Meet me at the bandsaw. All right, now we just need to line up our cuts with our blade, and we're going to be left with 4 pieces. But where is my feather board? I need a feather board on the back side here, and I don't know where it is. Oh, crap. All right, dude, I'm running out of time here. Where's my feather board? This is not cool, man. Yeah, how much time we got? Oh, my God. Son of a bitch! Oh, my God. Ah. There it is. Right there. Son of a... This, ladies and gentlemen, is why you do not rush woodworking, because I just skipped a very important step. This is not going good for me. All right, so what I wanted to do first was drill a hole for my brass rod. I'm at 5 minutes and 30 seconds, so I got to get on the ball. And I'm going to drill a hole directly in the center, a 1/2 inch in. All right, back to the bandsaw. And just when I thought it could get no worse. Haha. Wow. Yep, that just happened. Hopefully my wife noticed and will flip the breaker back. For now, we're just gonna sit here in the dark. Kinda creepy. What was that? Totally running out of time now. Hey, I can see my nipple mics. Kick ass! All right, now we've got all that cut. We're gonna go ahead and lay out for our candles. All right, so I'm gonna be pulling in 5/8 of an inch from the front of all these pieces. And I'm gonna take my marking wheel and mark the center right at that 5/8 of an inch mark. Now I just need to get these holes punched. And let's head to the vise and drill some holes. We sure are cutting it close, guys. Right, now let's hit this thing with some sandpaper. I was able to locate my brass rod, so we're going to take this and go ahead and get it cut to size. I'll do that by sticking it in the bottom hole.
That's your home!
And then marking the very top. And we'll run to the bandsaw to get it cut. I think we're going to make it in time. Now I just need to slap some finish on it real quick, and then we'll slap that brass rod in it and wrap this thing up. I just need to get my air chuck and hose, get this plugged in, and get this thing blowed off. Oh, we're cutting it close. Beautiful. Alright, I'm gonna grab a dab of CA glue and add a dab of glue, 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 and I'm gonna get my brass rod glued into the bottom, a little bit of activator. And I don't know about y'all, but this right here, this is that gold. I don't know if y'all have heard, but Johnson's paste wax is no longer a thing apparently. So I'm going to use just a little bit to help secure the brass into the bottom. Oh boy, we are up against the clock, guys. All that dancing. Voila. All right, let's get these candles in here and beat the clock. That's time. Wow. Okay, so one thing I wish I would have done a little bit different is rounding over each edge on these layers. In my humble expertise opinion, minus the expertise, I think it would have looked a lot better. What's that? Why do you always come up with the cool ideas? My wife seems to think that adding more candles to the top piece would be really cool. But then, what about adding candles to the next piece and the next piece? Let's just add an unlimited amount of candles. candles. So we're going to call it a night right there. We've done a lot of work and have made a lot of mess. There's just no way I'm starting this 1 hour build with all this mess in the way. We'll see you back here in just a second. Rock stars, here we are the following day. I had an absolute blast yesterday, so I have no doubts that today is going to be even better. I woke up to catch the beautiful sunrise, and I'll tell you one thing. I feel like if I'm not up by the time the sun's up, my day is just... For the record, I'm not sponsored by DeWalt. I just thought that this was a good looking shirt along with the red one I had earlier. That being said, if you want some official Bearded Viking merch, I've got them down below the video in the product section. Make sure to go check it out. For this candle holder build, we're going to be using some of my favorite wood, along with some other species for some contrast. So that's going to be some sapele, some ash, and most likely some walnut. Let's go ahead and get all of our stock cut to rough dimensions. And for our sapele and ash, that's going to be the pieces that hold the candles, and the walnut will be the feet most likely. We'll get the sapele and the ash cut down to 13 inches. As far as our feet go, I'll get those cut down to size when the time comes. Once we get those things cut, we'll run them all through the joiner, head to the planer, head to the bandsaw and get our thicknesses ripped, get a glue up going, and we'll carry on from there. Alright, so what I've got is 13 inches on both my ash and my sapele pieces, and I ripped my pieces of sapele to 1.5 inches, and my ash is at 7/8. Together combined, they are around 4 inches. Next thing to do is add a dab of glue. I'm trying out this quick set from Titebond, and it's supposed to have like a 5-minute dry time, but I don't know if I believe that. But we're going to test it out. So if you know the song, go and sing it along. We'll add a dab of glue, 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 add a dab of glue. So right now we're at 25 minutes in, and I do not trust this 5-minute set time. So I'm gonna give it 20 minutes, and that should leave me enough time to finish up this project within the hour. So I'm gonna make my feet 1.5 inches tall. So let's get this cut down to 1.5 inches. Next, we'll go ahead and get this piece cut down to 6 inches. Okay, so now for our layout. We're gonna pull center of our piece here, and being that our base is at 4 inches, we're gonna pull over 2 3/8 from both sides of center, because my feet are gonna be a pocket for the base to set in. Square those marks just so we can have a reference. And then what I did here was I pulled down 1/4 inch, and then I pulled up 1/4 inch from the bottom, and the only thing coming out of these feet are gonna be this waist area.
What?
I promise, all of this will make sense in just a bit. So we're gonna get the majority of this waist hogged out over here at the table saw. That way I don't have to overwork my bandsaw. Now over here at the bandsaw, we're gonna take and cut the rest of this waist out on the left side and the right side. Now that we got the majority of the waist removed, I'm just gonna clean up those saw marks right here at the vise with some chisels. I'll tell you what, it's a good thing I just sharpened these chisels. This should make quick work. Well, we are cutting it a little bit closer than I would like, but that puts us right at around 11 minutes. Now that I've got my base out of the clamps, I need to send it through the milling process one last time to get it to its final thickness at 3/4. Now we'll take and get it cut to 12 inches in length. We're going to pull center at 6 inches. And then I'll pull 3 inches from both sides, mark center of our board, and get these holes drilled out. We're going to be drilling these holes all the way through. All right, guys, let's head on over back to the table saw and get this cut in half. You know, I'm actually pretty impressed with how well that speed set glue held up. I mean, that was maybe 15, 20 minutes at most. Pretty solid. So that puts us right around 8 minutes and 45 seconds left to go. That should leave us with enough time to glue this piece of ash to the walnut feet with that speed set glue. Let me show you what I'm talking about. My C channel is at 4 1/4 wide. So I'm gonna take this piece of ash and cut this at the same amount at 4 1/4. And we'll get this glued up. After we get it glued up while it's drying, we'll go ahead and get our base sanded down. Alright gang, we're down to our final 7 minutes, and what I'm going to do next with my feet is cut a 15-degree angle going from the very top edge down. That way it has a nice taper to it. Then we'll bring it over here to the table saw and get it resawn directly in half, creating our 2 feet. For our very last cut, we're going to put that same taper on both ends of our candle holder. And then finally, we'll get our feet sanded, get it glued up, slap some finish on it, and we'll wrap this bad boy up. Ladies and gentlemen, we have reached that moment in time where we flock around and find out. Let's go. Add a dab of glue. We're gonna come in off both of our sides with our feet at 3/4 of an inch. And this has a friction fit, so I don't need to worry too much about clamping it. We'll give that glue time to set and slap some finish on it. Now it's time for some finish. So there you have it, guys, your $20 build, your $60 build, and your $100 candle holder build. Be sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Be sure to hit that bell notification